second stage, and I call on Deputy Desi Ellis to move that the second reading motion.
Stage.
You move?
Yeah.
Deputy has moved that the bill be now read a second time. Deputy Ellis, who I understand will be sharing with colleagues.
Yes, sound.
Proceed.
Minister, thanks very much for taking this topic, or this PMB. I think we can all agree that over the last number of years, the use of quad bikes and scramblers in public places has become not just a nuisance, but a real danger to ordinary people who use public spaces, parks, and even when just walking through their own housing estates. It is not without exaggeration a major problem that is particularly prevalent in urban areas, and it is a problem I am increasingly witnessing and hearing about when I meet people from my own constituency and elsewhere, and the Gardaí seem to be powerless to stop it. At Safety Forum meetings, joint police and committee meetings and community events, I and other residents have repeatedly raised this issue, and it's constantly coming up. People have a real fear of taking their children to the park to play ball or walking their dog, or even just going to the local shops because of the activities of these quads and scramblers. We've just had one of the hottest summers on record, and people wanted to take advantage of the good weather, and they did so. And the quads and the motorbike scramblers did so also. How can any family with children, for example, relax when there is a real possibility and fear of being injured by such vehicles? Quads and scramblers have caused a number of fatalities and serious injuries. The most recent and shocking example was when Ilabek Avitian received serious head injuries in Darndale Park when a scrambler landed on him while he was sunbathing. This innocent man is now in a vegetative state in hospital. And Zahila, his wife, was also injured in the incident and suffered a broken pelvis. And Zahila's life has been turned upside down, and she is currently facing the real prospect of being made homeless while caring for her seriously injured husband because she has no income to pay the rent or even to live. Communities genuinely feel that they are effectively being terrorised by those who are using quads and scramblers in public places, especially in local public parks. Such vehicles are repeatedly being used by some to damage property, damage football pitches, and even threaten people and other antisocial activities. It is every parent's nightmare that the next casualty will be their child run down while playing in a public space. Families and communities should be able to enjoy a public amenity during the week or on a weekend without having to fear for their safety. It is hard to believe that I've been raising this issue since I was a Dublin City Councillor years ago, and it is disheartening to think that the problems and issues that existed then are multiplied today. Shockingly, quad bikes and scramblers are readily available and cheap to buy. A casual search on Dundale today showed that a person could buy a quad bike for as little as €180 and scramblers for as little as €200. You can even buy children's mini scramblers for €300 or less. I would have to question who would buy a child such a bike that could be a danger not only to the child but to the general public. With Christmas around the corner, I would appeal to parents not to buy mini bikes, quads or scramblers for their children. The Road Traffic Act 2004 makes it an offence to supply a mechanically propelled vehicle to a person under 16 years of age, including it being a loan or a gift. But that doesn't seem to deter many people, as I have seen myself that many of those who are riding such vehicles around the parks and estates can be as young as 6 or 7 years of age. Last year, myself and Deputy Imelda Munster, the Sinn Féin spokesperson for transport, submitted a bill to amend the Road Traffic Act 1994, which would allow Gardaí to deal effectively with quad and scrambler users who continue to flout the rules of the road and who do not have a licence and do not have insurance and do not have the vehicle registered in any way. At the moment, the law prohibits the use of these vehicles on public roads unless fully insured and taxed. However, there is a clear gap in the legislation, allowing people who use these vehicles for antisocial to get around the limited powers the Gardaí have and avoid any penalties. Under current legislation, Gardaí have found it difficult to deal with the use of quads and scramblers in public places from an enforcement perspective. Crucially, Gardaí have limited powers to seize and keep vehicles engaged in the sort of antisocial activity I have described. Housing estates, greens and parks under current legislation are not considered public space. And this is clearly an anomaly in the law that needs to be corrected in legislation. The law as it stands now means that many vehicles seized by Gardaí in public spaces are returned to the registered owners with little or no sanction on these owners because current legislation does not consider these areas as a public space. Therefore, those who ride their quads and scramblers in such areas are not in breach of the law. This bill, myself and Deputy Munster introduced last year, will extend the powers that the Gardaí have to include public spaces. The bill will address the definition of a public space, giving the Gardaí the power to deal with vehicles being used in such a manner. Minister, this bill is designed to correct anomalies. At the moment, there is clearly there's something missing in regards to the definition of public spaces. I hope that you, your TDs and others in this House would support us. The indicators are different. I really feel that we do need support in regards to this. I have been at forums, safety forums, policing forums, where the guards and senior guards have indicated there is a major problem. And I know you have indicated that you are that you are going to oppose this, and I've heard what your excuse is. But I really feel that this is something that needs to be looked at, and I'm giving the hand out to say that if you let this go to the next stage, we will look at whatever you have to say, whether it's amendments or other suggestions, and we'll take them on board. And I'm doing the same for your colleagues in Fianna Fáil. So I'm hoping you will think about this. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.